you're the only host.
Okay, we're on. We're recording.
Cool. So hi and welcome. Thank you for joining us. And this is so exciting because having all of you from all over and sharing your ideas and your views and what are your points of views about religion, ethnicity, and culture. We would love to have you talk about that. Zulma, can we have you come in first, please?
So talk about what? Say that again.
So we'd like to tell us what your ethnic background is, first of all. And, the topic that we're doing is about creating beyond ethnicity, culture, and religion. And so many of us have been sort of like confined to the points of view of different cultures and the religions and even ethnicity. And so we really just wanted to interview people to find out what it's been like for them and maybe how Access has helped them to create along with it and also maybe even beyond it. So we're just trying to hear people different points of view, with regards to this topic, because we know we have a lot of different points of view out there in the world. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, ethnicity, all that stuff. And then
so all the good stuff.
All the good stuff, yeah.
So I was born in Puerto Rico. I'm the oldest of 5, only daughter. And it's interesting because I went through different experiences than my other friends. My mother had a point of view that as a woman, I had to live in her house until I got married.
Right.
My brothers, even though they are younger, they could do things because they were men. And right. I wasn't able to do it. So I had always this kind of fight in my inside me, and this kind of anger that I didn't recognize until I was with Access. I was holding on many things. So one of the main things that I can remember was that I needed a man to travel from one side of the island to the other side. And we are not that big. So let's say that's 1 or 2 hours drive. And I was resisting it. And I was reacting it. And I didn't know that I had bought that point of view. So my daughter Cities invited me to go to Spain. And I was like, yeah. So are you going to buy the ticket? Are you going to buy? I was like, yes, let's go to Spain. And I couldn't even speak. So now then I realized that, yes, in my unconsciousness, unconsciously, I needed a man, 2 women going to Spain across, the world. And after that, and after Access, I've been traveling by myself. And it's amazing. I went to Stockholm to see Dane for ESB, and I bought the ticket, the room, found a room with Mariana, got to Stockholm, asked the man, how do I get to here? And he said, right, left, right. And I was like, okay. And I got my suitcase and I went, and I was like, oh wow, pinch me, a completely different person. Right. So that's one of my experiences. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. What did that, thank you for sharing that. When that first idea of you traveling first came, what kind of things showed up in your body? The idea of going beyond what your mom's point of view was, or the cultural point of view of your household.
When the Spain part?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even speak.
Okay.
It was like I was contracted. I couldn't breathe. I was like, I was blocked. My brain was like, So she was like, "Are you going?" It wasn't easy for Cities being with me in Spain because I was very guarded.
Sure.
Yeah, I was
that was a fear, right? That was a fear that probably the culture that you grew up in, which was embedded in you, and which you actually couldn't think and couldn't look beyond that, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I couldn't even express it. I didn't know what was going on.
Awesome.
And that's the funny part. You know, they didn't know, you know, and how many people are going through the same position. They said, no, I can't travel. No, I can't do this. I can't do that. But it's because of what was said to me all along.
Yeah. It was automatic pilot. It happened automatically, an automatic response.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the call, Chandana, that you and I are hoping to create for people, is to go beyond that. And, you know, applaud for you, Seema, for going beyond that response. Because most people shut down. They won't choose that. They won't choose for themselves. They'll choose to stay within the culture. So, Zuma, what does like religion, ethnicity, and culture, what does it actually mean to you?
Entrapment. Because I was raised Catholic, and they have so many, you know, if, you know, otherwise, you know, if you do this, you're insane. If you do this, you know, if being Puerto Rican, you have to, you know, you have to have this, and you have to be dressed nicely, and you have to have the makeup. And it was like, how much of that was me? It's like how much, you know, I was criticized because I was flirtatious. Say, oh, it's because you're flirtatious. And I remember exactly the day that my aunt told me, oh, you are too flirtatious. And I was like trying to be controlling myself so I wouldn't be like, oh, hi, how are you? And call people honey. And now it's like, oh, forget it. It's like, yeah, I'm flirtatious, and so what? But that's culture. You know, you have to be certain way as a woman.
Yes.
You have to get married to have, you know, to have intercourse or to have sex.
Yes.
And my brothers were having sex like crazy. But I had to keep it image.
Yes. And that's what culture is all about, right? It's all about the image.
Mm-hmm. So culturally, and you know, women and culture, I was like in a square that I was like couldn't be moved because I felt like trapped. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Thank you for that. And it's actually so similar to our Indian culture here, especially about the women and the men, because we have a very similar background in India where men can do it all, but women can't, right? They need the permission of the man, or first it's their dad, then it's their brother, then it's their husband, and then finally it's their son. So it's like, it's always a man who's in control of their lives. So yeah, can we have, probably we can ask Bhagya to come in now, please. Yeah, Bhagya, we'd love you to share about what religion and ethnicity and culture has been for you in India and otherwise too.
Question of family.
Okay.
They could never put me in any box ever, because I born in a Hindu family, Orthodox.
Can you start one more time, honey? Start one more time. We had you on mute. Start from
Sure. Okay. So I was the youngest of 5 children, and nobody could ever put me in a box, ever. I was born in a Hindu family, very religious, very orthodox. But I went to a convent school. I spent a lot of time in the chapel. And my books were always my best friends, because nobody could ever relate to me. The books were always my best friends. So I read about Buddhism, and I loved that with your thoughts you create your world.
Yeah.
I read the Bible as a work of literary excellence. And when it said, love your neighbor as you love thyself, it made a lot of sense to me. But I also realized that I need to love myself first, so that I would know how to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the parables that absolutely bewitched me as a child when I read them, and it said, the prophet is not without honor, except in his own house.
Mm-hmm.
How come it is so? And then I realized that, well, what you are is what you get. So you need to be able to honor yourself first, so that others can honor you. I believe that you are an invitation to the world as to how it should treat you.
Right. That's beautifully put. Yeah.
And so when they said don't cast pearls before swine, that's what Access says. Give to people what they're capable of receiving.
Yeah.
Because if you give them what they're not capable of receiving, it's going to come to you with daggers attached.
Yes.
So when I came into Access, I felt like I had come home.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, yes, there are variations. I will not call it differences in culture, religion, ethnicity. I would not use the word difference. I would use it as a diversity and a uniqueness that adds to life on this planet. Imagine if rose was the only flower on the entire planet.
Yes.
Or the cat or the dog, the only animal. No, so I do believe that yes, there are variations due to topography, due to the place where we are, but those were never meant to jail us.
Yeah.
They were never meant to imprison us in a dichotomy where, like, okay, this is the only thing, everything else is wrong.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be like that. It is a way of life based on where we are. But it doesn't mean that somebody else's way is wrong.
Yeah.
So I do believe that, yes, there are variations, but that is what makes life on the planet more beautiful.
Can you talk a little bit about how the religion, ethnicity, and culture, where it may have been a limitation in your life and also a contribution? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Religion to me just meant that there is something, some energy, something greater than something people call God. That is a contribution. But then God is a contribution to all. I am not religious in the ritualistic way. I never was. So to me, it is a way of life based on where you are. But religion has been used in a way to control people, in a way to limit them, in a way to imprison them, in a way to make them or to implant them with a point of view that only yours is the right one and everything else is wrong. But if you look at every religion, at the base or the core of every religion, there is only love. There is only peace. There is only kindness. You look at you look at the scriptures, you look at any spiritual text, at the base, the core, always love.
Yes, very true. Absolutely. You said it so beautifully, Bhagya, because that's what even I truly believe. But somewhere the scriptures lost their, people didn't really read the scriptures to understand them. They were told what to do. They were told to read them and reread them without really knowing what it was.
How much of scripture has been misunderstood, misidentified, and misapplied?
Yes. And that's, so true. And that's again, it comes again from the cultural aspect where, my religion is better than yours and my culture is better than yours. So it becomes a power game where man started using religion and culture against each other.
But when you look at people all over the world, the common man does not have a problem with any religion. They have friends across religious differences, cultural, ethnic differences. And when we come together, I mean, it's a joyful communion. So it is not the majority that want to use religion as a tool to separate. It's a few people. It's a very tiny fragment that believes in fragmentation.
Unfortunately, a lot of those few people are in positions of power.
Because we have chosen to give our power away.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, because you've given your power away to people who can actually not make you powerless, but can actually totally ruin your life. They can sell you something and you buy it so easily.
So when we look at our future and realize that the future of life on this planet depends on inclusion, not exclusion.
Yes.
And I believe that if each one looked at it for himself or herself, the planet would be a different place. The world would be a different place. So it is in the uniqueness that each one has, the ethnic uniqueness is actually a strength. It's a contribution.
But how many actually use that as a strength, Bhagya?
Because they have been taught otherwise.
Yes.
We have been good students of bad education.
Yes, so that needs to stop. That needs to change.
We've just taken it lock, stock, and barrel because for us, they can say no wrong. They're gurus. We look up to them.
Yeah.
But when we don't look at the guru within us, we look at people outside. And then we buy into whatever they say. But what if we were to change that? And that is up to us, right?
And that opens up a whole doorways of issues when you make other people more righteous than you. And it's a great way to invite demons into your life.
Yes. Demons, entities, everybody then squashes you into nothingness if you allow them.
Okay.
But now is the time. Now is the time. Yeah. There is no more time to lose.
Yes.
So I believe that if we can be in allowance of people and their uniqueness, and then invite all those differences to contribute to all of us in their own way, it would be a heaven on earth. And that's how it was meant to be, I guess.
Yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Very grateful.
Thank you, Bhagya. Thank you. Wonderful.
Okay.
So
Nilofer.
Now we have...
Go ahead, Chandana.
Yeah, Nilofer, can you hear us, honey? I don't think.
And I'm not able to unmute her for some reason.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
Well, why don't we go ahead and ask?
Smriti, can we have you on?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's Nilofer. Yes. Hi.
Oh.
Hi.
Can't see you, sweetheart.
We're not getting a good connection from you, Nilofer.
You'll probably do it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead with Smriti.
Smriti, darling, can we have you on? Hi.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Yeah.
So, what do I say? I'm from India. Yeah. And I was born a Hindu. And my parents followed something called the Arya Samaj, which was founded by Swami Vivekananda. And I quite identified with it because it did not believe in separating people. Because it's not so much a religion, but it was a way of life where you respected nature, you respected Mother Earth, you respected, every being. So on that account, I kind of grew up quite all right. And we chanted the Gayatri Mantra and, we did our prayers and all of that. So that was fine. But I also came from a culture which put a whole lot of, do's and don'ts on me, especially with relation to men, boys. So like at the age of 10, I was put in a boarding school for education. And before I left, I was given this huge lecture about how I shouldn't talk to the boys, how boys are like this, how boys are like that, and how in our Hindu culture, we don't do these kind of things because then girls are considered, sluts, whatever. And so what happened for me was that because those points of views were implanted, as I grew up, and even in school, I had a tough time relating to especially boys. And also I was then very, what do I say? I was very conscious about my background, that I came from a small town, that I wasn't too exposed to English and things like that. So everything about my background, my culture, for me became a big limitation. And I ended up becoming very bitter, very somebody who had very little self-esteem, who messed up in relationship because I just didn't know how to relate to boys. Because the point of view was that, it's not a good thing. And so I think my life kept reflecting that for the longest of time. And then came a time when I literally became the black sheep of my family, because I kind of broke every norm, every rule, so to say, that our culture puts on us. I lived on my own for many years, which doesn't really happen in India. Girls are supposed to live with their parents till they get married and all of that. So I'm kind of somebody who's gone beyond what is right or what is wrong. And I've seen for myself what works for me. And somewhere along the line, I started practicing Buddhism, and I've been practicing Buddhism for like last 14 years now, which again does not talk of separation. It's again not a religion. It's again not, it's all about upholding the dignity of life. There is just no separation there. It's all about oneness. So I believe that a lot of religions, they do create separation. I mean, I see it happening. I see so much separation in the name of religion. I've seen, people being killed in the name of religion, and a lot of things being done in the name of religion. And I kind of don't align with that. And I encourage my own self and everyone to think for their own selves, as to be willing to look at, does this really work for you? Why are you doing this in the first place, for example? So I really question everything, and I go with what works for me. And I'm a much happier person today because I follow my own knowing. I refuse to be bound by rules, regulations, especially the ones that that make no sense. And at the same time, I have taken the wonderful things. I've taken the celebrations, I've taken the festivities, I've taken the colors, the sparkles, and all of that. And all the little festivals or occasions which bring people together, which bring families together. So that I take on. Whatever contributes to creation of more joy in my life, more joy in the life of my friends, family, I take that in. And what I see is creating separation, I let it go, because I don't think that was the original purpose of any religion to begin with.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really beautifully put. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Nilofer, are you there?
No.
She's in cyberspace. We're not getting a good connection from you, honey.
Yeah. No, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, baby. Sorry. Maybe tomorrow or something.
Yeah. We can probably do Nilofer tomorrow. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was awesome. And I think this would be fun for us to interview some more people. And thank you so much, all of you, for coming on and just sharing, a brief, perspective and point of view.
I have a questions for them. How many of them have been, living in the United States? Because coming from Puerto Rico to the United States, that was a whole ball game, a different ball game. Is any one of them living in the United States?
No.
We invited some people from the United States, but we put this together very last minute.
Okay. Because one of my comments is, from being Puerto Rican, from coming to the United States, I found out that I was black.
Wow.
I didn't know that I was black.
Yes.
Until I came to the United States. I was Puerto Rican. And coming in here, talking about separation and culture and ethnicity, I became black. That is a different ethnicity or a different color because of my skin. And in Puerto Rico, people will marry yellow, black, light, and it was like It's fun having kids different colors, and here was like, oh, so I was downgraded because I don't know if you have had the experience, but I found out in the United States, if you are black and you are down, you are less intelligent and less, oh, that's so heavy, than the white person. But if you are a lighter black, you're in a better situation. So I went to college, and this is for you to think about this. I went to college in Baltimore, and there were a group of people that were saying, "What are you?" I'm like, "What are you?" Okay, so she said, "Okay, I'm Puerto Rican, or I'm black. If you want me," she said, "No, you're not black. You're Hispanic." So for them to say that I was Hispanic, put them in a, I'm hanging out with a Hispanic that was in a higher category than hanging out with a black person. So I'm going to leave you with that today.
No, that's awesome. And I'm grateful that you shared.
Thank you for that. Yeah, because that's actually, it puts it into a very different perspective as to how discrimination still is there. It's very prevalent. We've moved into a very different century, but it's still so prevalent. I mean,
and then we forget we're infinite beings too.
Exactly.
It's the body we have this particular time around.
So sometimes it's nice to play with being black, because I can. So how much manipulation can I get?
Oh yeah, right.
Well, a lot of people look at me and they automatically assume I'm Irish because I have red hair and freckles. And my mother came from Italy. She came right off the boat, and she has the flaming red hair and very white skin. So they automatically assume she was Irish as well. So people put you in boxes just based on what your outside looks like. And I'm actually encouraging everyone to do that DNA test with Ancestry.com, because just to prove everyone wrong, it only said I was 7% Irish and 0% Scandinavian. And my biological father was Puerto Rican. My mother came from Italy. And but it said I was 9% African from the northern parts of Africa. So I'm actually more African than I am Irish. And then the other part was 85% European, 69%, which was of Italian and Greece or Greek. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like
I've been refusing to do that, and because it's like when I hear people saying I am this percentage, this percentage, that, I was like, okay, my eye is Irish, my head is this, so my arm is like, so it's like, that's. So I'm glad that you're saying it, because I've been refusing to do that, and maybe I can do it just for fun. But every time that somebody said it's like, I'm 33%, I'm like, which part is 33% of your body is like, what about if you are you?
Exactly. We just
like,
are what we are. And there's no separation. And that's the whole point of all of this, is to not be bounded by the cultures and the ethnicities and the religions anymore, and to use it, as Smriti was saying, for fun and for joy and the festivities. I would love to know what you guys do for celebrations. I want to celebrate all the different cultures, festivities around the world, because it's meant for joy and it's meant for communion. That's all, not for control and manipulation and to oppress. But, unfortunately, that's the way it's been throughout history in every culture. And that's what we're trying to break through. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool.
And thank you for inviting me.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think we got some wonderful points of views from all of you. And I wonder how much greater if this is a step forward, and even if a few people want to change that, it can be a start.
Yeah, right? We can start from the place where everyone is made to be aware that originally we are infinite beings.
Yes.
Originally we are conscious beings. Yeah. But it is the fundamental darkness that exists within each person. If there is light within each person, there's also the fundamental darkness that exists within each person. Yeah. And it is that which kind of drives you towards greed. It drives you towards power. And in that play of power, in the play of greed, is when you forget that each one is an infinite being. And
Mhm.
You want to make everybody less so that you can have more power. So it begins with that awareness that, hey, you're an infinite being, I'm an infinite being, and we're all interconnected by oneness. And that is what I love about Access. Its target is oneness. Its target is consciousness. And so...
Can't hear you, Smriti. I think you just muted.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I love about Access Consciousness, because the target is oneness, target is consciousness. It brings down the walls of separation. And does that mean that all of us are choosing it 100% of the time? We are not. But at least that awareness has set us on that journey where we can appreciate everything that we are. Whatever our cultures, whatever our ethnicity, our religions have made us, and have no point of view about it anymore. Like earlier, I used to be angry with how I was told not to do this and not to do that because our culture did not allow or did not think it good for a girl. But today I look back, instead of being bitter about it, I look back, hey, that was an interesting point of view. And it was right from their point of view, because that's all they knew. That's all they were taught. So looking at it from that perspective, just an interesting point of view, has made me lose all my bitterness and anger of the past, where I was told I can't do this and I can't be that.
Yeah.
In fact,
So
I
it's like
created a class out of it. Go past the past and create a new future, because everything of the past is just an interesting point of view. So yes, that awareness that each of us is an infinite being and each of us is interconnected. We can't deny it anymore.
Yes. Yeah, and consciousness includes everything, right? It includes everything. It includes your religion, it includes your ethnicity, it includes your culture. And what if you could actually use all of that and create a greater reality that's beyond this reality?
Absolutely.
It's like it's not about separating yourself from it or making something wrong. It's just about creating from there and creating greater.
Absolutely. You said it so well, Chandana.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, guys. This was wonderful. This was really good fun.
All right.
Thank you, Chandana and Anthony, for creating this. Have a rocking ride is what I would say.
Thank you.
And
Thank
go
you.
create.
Be fun.
Thank you.
Okay.